What's poppin', ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Y'all already know what time it is. We back to hating on some of the most hated anime characters there are. Let me just say real quick, if y'all do enjoy the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Plus, ya boy's been streaming. Y'all wanted to know where I've been the past couple of days? On Twitch. I pretty much stream over there at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day. Here's a 5-second clip on how that's going. I did that shit. I really fucking did that shit! And yeah, other than that, let's begin. Shout Tucker. Yeah, you know, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. This man's a certified piece of shit. Like, if I could pull down my trousers and take a shit on this man's chest, I would do it so fast. Cause without any context, this shit sounds bad. Bro straight up turned his daughter into a dog. Bitch, what are we talking about? Alright, so pretty much what had happened was that Edward and his little brother Al went to go jump the shit out of this priest. I know that probably don't sound too hot, but that's what happened. But the man did deserve it. I mean, he was asking little girls to shoot people. Shoot him, Rose. It's God's will. And the reason they pretty much beat the shit out of him in the first place was because they thought he had a way to restore their bodies. Because if you haven't realized, Edward is missing an arm and a leg, and his little brother is missing his entire body. And if you want to know how that happened, long story short, they tried to revive their mommy, but shit hit the fan, and that wasn't their mommy. But during their jumping session with the priest, they realized he was using this abomination named a chimera, and that if they wanted any chance of restoring their bodies, they should probably learn a little bit of bioalchemy. Which I felt like they really sped right past that statement, because like, how the hell you trying to restore your body and you don't know jack shit about alchemy? Or my bad. Biology. Actually, you know what? Just study both. Your little brother ain't got a torso. Nevertheless, they get recommended to meet Mr. Tucker and walk to his crib. And this was my first impressions of Mr. Tucker. He's got a receding hairline and glasses. Yeah, this man can't do no harm. Now, you see, that's where I messed up, because apparently this man is the anime version of Walter White, a goddamn menace. And he was acting suspicious from the jump, and I didn't catch that shit in the slightest. Like, the moment Ed and Al walk into this man's crib, the first thing he says is, "My bad, the place is such a clutter, my ex-wife left me and my daughter." What does you being a dirty bitch have to do with your ex-wife leaving you? Like, when I watched this for the second time, I knew it. He was marinating the shit out of them. And they didn't even find it weird in the slightest. They just kept on studying. And it was really during Edward and Al's study session where I really developed a hatred for Mr. Tucker. And don't get me wrong, he wasn't doing anything bad at this time. It's just that I got to realize just how sweet and precious his daughter Nina was. Like, this little girl just wanted to hang out with her daddy. But because he was so damn busy, she got lonely. And Mr. Tucker even knew that this was a problem. But they kind of showed him off as a dad who was working hard, because apparently before he was a state alchemist, they were poor as shit. And this is when you can kind of see the man start slipping through the cracks, because he's got an evaluation for his state alchemist license in a few days. And if he doesn't do well, he's back to being poor. And you could tell just based off his aura that he's about to do some shit. I didn't expect him to go through the lengths that he did, but nevertheless, he was gonna do something. So boom, it's finally time for the day of the evaluation, and Ed and Al go over to Mr. Tucker's to see what he did for a science fair project. And this man couldn't be happier with the results. He created a chimera with intellect. And at first, Ed was gassed. I mean, there is a talking dog in the house. That was until it said his name. Big Brother Ed. Oh my God! This man really has the audacity to smile after turning his child into a talking dog, just to keep a job. That's crazy. Also, I'm sure at this point it will not come to a surprise to say that the same shit happened to the wife. Yeah, she never left. She got turned into a talking cat for all I fucking know. And yeah, after that, Edward beat the brakes off that man, and then somebody cleaned him up. R.I.P. Nina. Even after getting turned into a dog, she still felt bad for her dad's death. I'm telling you, precious. Princess Freya. Now, I don't think it comes to anybody's surprise that this lady's on this list, because let's be honest, she is one mean bitch. I mean, we're talking about a princess that was able to betray, abuse, torture, and drug an innocent civilian. Now, granted, the civilian in question might have diverted from the path of God, leading him astray, but nevertheless, still innocent before the incident. That civilian being Kiaru, the hero of healing. So it's not like this is some random person. Who I would like to mention is a commoner. That is actually a very important fact. But anyways, we see Kyaru living in a commoner village with his stepsister slash stepmother. I'm not sure which one it is, but either way, she's still bad. And one day, while picking apples, he gets a vision of the Philosopher's Stone and a voice telling him to go to a lake. So he ends up going to the lake, and this is where he meets the Star Spirit. And while kind of in a trance, he asks the Star Spirit to give him the all-seeing eye, which pretty much gives him his memories from a previous life. And let me tell you, it is not pretty. And during that life, after defeating the Demon King, he takes the Philosopher's Stone to heal the world, causing a regression. And this is where we see the story take place. So after regaining his memories, obviously, the boy is pissed. So he starts plotting his plan for revenge, and his first plan is to find resistance to the drugs he's given. And after a few days of devouring shrooms like he's Mike Tyson, we see him develop his hero emblem, and Freya comes to pick him up. And it's pretty much when Kyaru makes it to the castle that his life goes to shit. Cause he goes on to heal somebody's amputated arm, and this is when he realizes that he has side effects for using his healing ability. And it pretty much cripples him mentally, which also results in us seeing Freya's bitchy side. And I'm not gonna lie, the personality flip was crazy. I mean, she hit us with an Uno reverse card so fast that none of us saw it. Cause the moment Kyaru was down for the count, she's like, oh, god damn it, this peasant is useless. Throw him in the dungeon. Like, bro, what? This man just grew a lady's arm back like she was a salamander, and you wanna throw his ass in the dungeon? What kind of logic is this? So now bro's being drugged up so he stops complaining about the side effects while getting violated and tortured in the dungeon. And you wanna know the weirdest part about all this? Kyaru has the spirit's all-seeing eyes, which means he already knew that this was gonna happen, and he just let it happen again. Like, bruh, I get you're trying to get revenge, but why'd you let it happen a second time? Like, if it was for the drug resistance skill, just do it after you escaped. Why'd let it happen to you twice? I'm just gonna go with the assumption that the drugs were just that potent and bro did not want to seem suspicious in the slightest. But I would have diverted the plan just a little bit, you know, just a few tweaks. And yeah, after that, we all pretty much know what happens, you know, let's not cap. Was his actions justifiable? No, not really. And if we're being completely transparent, oh yeah, they're both going to hell. But at the end of the day, the general public only cared about one thing. Who started it? Griffith. I really have no clue how to start this segment off, so I'ma just say this. Griffith is a goddamn thug. Like, bro really committed a betrayal so devious, it set my ass into a state of depression, and I wasn't even the one being affected by it. Like, have you ever just sat there and just listened to all the crazy shit somebody has committed throughout their life, and you just kind of thought to the back of your head, oh yeah, this man needs to die? Yeah, well, that's essentially my thought process when I think about Griffith. And to kind of understand where my headspace is at, we're gonna have to take it back when bro went batshit crazy. That being when Guts decided to leave the Band of the Hawks. And the situation itself was very simple. Guts just wanted to leave to find a dream. But this just makes Griffith act like a clingy girlfriend, and he's like, no, I don't want you to leave. So they do what anyone does in a bad relationship. They use violence, and that just causes Griffith to get packed up in one move. And this is essentially the moment when Griffith turns crazy. And I mean crazier than before. Cause now he's turning into a full-on psychopath. Like, the first thing he decides to do when Guts leaves is sneak into the princess's room and do some business, which both gets him convicted of treason and tortured. And just so everybody understands how big of a fumble this actually is, the night before he was being praised as a hero, and not even 24 hours later, he's getting whipped. And I really couldn't tell you why he did what he did to get himself in this situation with the princess, but I do know why he's so upset about Guts. Long story short, his favorite tool is gone. That's about it. Cause you gotta understand something about Griffith. He doesn't see his comrades as comrades. He just sees them as tools that he can use to achieve his dream. So yeah. You know, he an asshole. But we fast forward a year later, and Griffith is still in prison, and Guts pops back up out of nowhere. And Casca pretty much tells Guts that Griffith has been in prison for over a year, and yeah, well, we kind of need to save him. Keep in mind that during this time, Casca tries to kill herself, which, you know, leads Guts to save her, and then they kind of become lovers. So, right, like, you know, this is a very big moment for the relationship. I know it seems like a very random statement, but just keep that thought in the back of your head. So they go on to commence Operation Save Griffith, and then later on meet him. But something weird happened while Guts was kind of mourning his friend's violation. This man all of a sudden just kind of starts choking Guts out. And you would think he was just choking him out since he was like traumatized for a whole year, just getting whipped and shit. But no, Griffith actually blames everything that's happened to him on Guts. And to somehow make that make sense without going into this man's entire backstory, once again, long story short, he blamed his obsession for Guts on Guts. Okay, yeah, that makes no damn sense. Pretty much what bro is saying is that the reason he went and broke the princess's back was because of Guts. Yeah, that also don't make no damn sense. But that was the thought process. Plus, he ended up finding out about Casca and Guts' relationship, and that just made him even more insecure. So in order not to lose Casca and possibly keep Guts around, he kind of throws himself onto Casca as a manipulation tactic. And for those of you that don't really know anything about the show, you might be asking yourself, why does Casca give so much of a shit about Griffith? Like, why, like, just leave. Like, bro is literally forcing himself onto you. Like he's weird. Get away. Well, yeah, for Casca, it's not that simple since he kind of saved her when she was younger. So, she kind of just pitied him. And I'm gonna give it to the guy. The plan almost worked. Like, Guts was like a smidge away from staying. But, yeah, Casca was like, nah, you can't do that. And that pretty much just made Griffith give up on life. Like, bro dipped with one of the carriages, and he's, like, practically on life support. And this is probably a good time to tell you to go and get some juice, because the story's about to get real dark. Because he goes on to crash the carriage, and we see him hold up his crimson behelit. And his behelit does two things. It starts the eclipse, which summons a bunch of dirty demons within the vicinity. Plus, it also grants the user the right to become a God Hand member, which is pretty much like a royal demon. And I should probably mention that this isn't a coincidence. Like, bro was chosen to have this necklace. And I don't mean chosen by like a person, I mean chosen by the universe. But I'm not gonna get into that because then we're talking about causality. And the only person that knows shit about that is Void. But anyways, we see the Band of the Hawk get stuck inside the ritual site, and here we get introduced to the God Hand members. And they pretty much tell Griffith, you can be reborn and become one of us, but we're gonna need you to sacrifice everybody here. And all he's gotta do is say, I sacrifice. Now, I'm sorry, bitch. Let me just stop right there. They're really making it so that this man has to openly admit to wanting to send his teammates to the Shadow Realm. And they're not getting a pretty death either. They're literally getting eaten alive. And you want him to say, I sacrifice? Please finesse they ass? I'm sorry, bitch. You got me fucked up. If I was one of Griffith's teammates, I'd literally be looking at him like, nah, he wouldn't. Damn right he would. And I wasn't even surprised, because bro did not hesitate. Bro was given the trigger and he pulled that shit immediately. And you'd think he'd be done, right? Like, he just sacrificed his teammates and he's already reborn as a demon. Like, what more could he need? Well, two people actually survived the incident, that being Guts and Casca. And let's just say he wasn't very nice to Guts and Casca. Oh god, how do I say this in a way that doesn't get me demonetized? So, Casca might have gotten the princess's treatment, and Guts was kind of forced to watch the whole thing happen. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that is some devilish satanic activity. And believe it or not, I have reason to believe that this goes way past just trying to get revenge on Guts. Cause like, why do this, right? Like, why do this instead of just killing Casca? Cause that would have pissed Guts off too. Like, why this? Well, here's what I'm thinking. Right, so Griffith goes and saves Casca from kind of the same incident from happening with a noble. And doing this to Casca pretty much cuts off his link with her, right? Kind of just a clean cut. Because he didn't have any interest in Casca, so it just seems really random to just think he's doing this to get revenge on Guts. Like, yeah, he's crazy, right? But I feel like he's crazy with intention. Plus, the only person that Guts really has in the series that he can truly say that he loves is Casca. So doing this is a clean cut as well, which honestly just makes the situation much worse for Griffith. Like, my god, you are a piece of shit. Like, this destroyed Guts and Casca for the entire series, especially Casca. Like, oh my god, bro, poor girl. I've had enough of this shit. We're done.